over 650 companies reporting this week, there are some really hot stocks that have yet to report. What are they? I've picked them out of the list, and some are old familiar names, but a few you may not be quite as familiar with. Let's take a look at what these red hot stocks really look like. So iRobot is back in the game. As you can see, it's got a perfect 5-year track record. That's really impressive. And those big green arrows along the entire chart here are all the size of the beats. So they've had 2 big beats in a row here going into this number. And finally, the shares have busted out even further off those coronavirus lows, trying to test possibly the 5-year highs. But we will see. They're still up 117% in the last year and now trading at 55 times. This has kind of been one of the pandemic plays, so to speak. But can they keep this momentum here in 2021? We'll see. Another, for sure, pandemic play has been Zynga. Now, this is the opposite of iRobot on the chart. I would say this is pretty terrible. Look at all those red arrows. I don't know what's going on with why they're missing every quarter. There's some kind of disconnect with what they're telling the analysts here, because it shouldn't really look like this, but nobody cares, and those shares are at new 5-year highs. Now, in the third quarter, where they had that big red arrow right here, they still reported record revenue as everybody is into basically the online gamings. And in September, they launched Harry Potter Puzzles and Spells. The launch went well, so we'll see if that's going to be a big driver again for revenue here in 2021 heading into this year. But otherwise, this big pandemic play, can it keep up with this momentum? We will see. Then we're going to switch over to one of the hot IPOs of 2018. Didn't do that much in 2019, but here we are after the big surge in 2020, 2 big beats in a row again, these big green arrows here, and now shares are at all-time highs. They're not cheap, trading at 35 times, but compared to a lot of the other stocks, that sounds a little cheap. So can Yeti get another leg up here before it tries to cool off? Possibly. We will see. Then one of my favorite stocks with maybe the best chart of the week is Pool Corporation. And as you can see, they've put together quite a nice string of beats here too, 6 in a row. Now, this is also basically a pandemic play, as they sell pools and pools equipment and supplies in the United States and other warm places like Australia. And what have we all wanted? We're all rushing out. We're buying houses. We're putting in pools in the backyard because of the pandemic. Now, how long will that demand stay? It's unclear, but these shares are just off their all-time high here just at the beginning of 2020. So can they keep up this momentum? They're trading at 39 times, but again, that doesn't seem that expensive given the demand metrics on the pool side of things. So we will see, but this is one of the top performing stocks of the last 30 years. So let's see what they bring this quarter. Then we're going to wrap it up with a red hot stock that was a pandemic play, but can also benefit from the reopening. Disney, ticker DIS, they've put together 2 big beats in a row based on the strength in their streaming in the Disney streaming area, but their parks in California remain closed and they're challenged globally in some other locations, but they are starting to reopen now in California, which will help them. And hopefully, as the recovery takes on strength in the second half of the year, they'll be resuming cruises and really have the parks open to bigger capacity. That is the hope, at least. And the movie division will also be coming back, hopefully, in the theaters. So shares have really soared here. They're up 28% over the last year. They're at all-time highs, all-time for Disney. Very expensive on a PE basis, trading at 131 times now because of the anticipation of the reopen. But those earnings estimates are really on the move for next year. Their analysts have them at 484 versus the consensus for this year of just 138. So big boost, 250% in earnings if everything goes as well as we all are hoping it goes. But this is one to watch. Is everything already priced in? We will see. So there's a lot of pandemic plays in this video, but they're also a play on the hope of the reopening. And as we go along here in 2021, we're going to get a lot of hopefully good updates from these companies that things are turning to the brighter side. But as always, we're going to be getting all this information all during earnings season from these companies. And you don't want to miss a single earnings all-stars video because I'm going to be bringing you all of their track records, the hot ones, the not so hot ones, and what to look for. So be sure to subscribe at Zacks.com/YouTube, and I'll see you again next week with a lot more videos.